Redwood High School is located in the small city of Eldridge Falls. Eldridge Falls is an isolated, fog-covered town with a long, shadowy history. The town is known for its generational families, history of unexplained disappearances, and the kind of secrets that never quite stay buried. On a cold Thursday morning, the halls of Redwood High School were still waking up. The bell hadn't rung yet, and students trickled in one by one. The janitor, Mr. Lang, unlocked the library doors like he had for the past 22 years. But this time, something was wrong. He noticed the library light was still on. Strange. It had been locked the night before. At least, it was supposed to be. There, in the far corner of the room, behind a row of encyclopedias, he saw a pair of shoes. Motionless. Alex Grant, 17 years old, top of his class, dead. No blood, no signs of struggle. Just still. The only sound in the room? The ceiling fan humming softly above a motionless body. Paramedics rushed in. Police cordoned off the library. When first responders arrived, it only deepened the mystery. His vitals were flat. His limbs unnaturally limp, like someone had pulled the plug from inside his chest. Yellow tape hung like a warning across the entrance. Teachers watched in silence. Students whispered, "No suspect. No weapon, no witnesses. Cause of death, undetermined." Police swept the scene. They found his backpack, his phone, a few textbooks, and then his notebook. Black leather, worn corners, most pages, neat, structured, academic. But as Detective Myers flipped through the notebook clutched in Alex's hands, something caught her eye. A final scribbled sentence, rushed but deliberate. "If I die, look in room 108. Room 108? That room had been closed for years, sealed after a boiler accident supposedly made it unsafe. Or so the school claimed. But there it was. Alex's last message. A breadcrumb left by a dying boy or a carefully planned clue. Detective Myers requested immediate access to the room. The principal, visibly shaken, hesitated. "That door hasn't been opened since before Alex was even born," he said. She didn't believe him. Neither did anyone else. Outside, the school erupted into chaos. Grief counselors, news vans, police interviews. Alex's friends said he had been paranoid for weeks, investigating something, staying late after school. He said the school was hiding things. One girl admitted in a whisper, "We thought he was being dramatic." Then came the rumors. A strange humming sound from the basement, unmarked keys stolen from the janitor's office, and a strange interaction Alex had with Eliza May, the quiet girl who always sat at the back of class, watching him just a little too long. Social media lit up. Hashtag room 108 trended by sunset. And then the anonymous email. Someone sent the police an old yearbook photo, 1991. A boy sitting in the same position as Alex. Same location in the library. Same expression on his face. He died the exact same way. And just like Alex, he'd left a message. Scrawled on a napkin that time. "Find a room they won't talk about." The pattern was undeniable. 2 deaths, decades apart. Same eerie message. Same room. Room 108 wasn't on any modern school floor plan. It had been decommissioned years ago. Sealed off after a fire in 1997. Most faculty believed it had been converted to storage, or completely gutted. Yet the door still stood, bolted, padlocked, untouched. Detective Myers revisited room 108. Ordered opened. It took 3 locksmiths and a crowbar to break the rusted lock. Dust exploded from the frame like a breath held too long. But there was more. Far in the corner, a locked filing cabinet. One drawer, missing its handle, had been tampered with. And inside it, something was waiting. The file they found wasn't about storage. It wasn't about renovations. It was about students. Names, dates, and red ink circles around 3 particular files. All marked discontinued. All from 25 years ago. But on the desk was something else. A cassette tape, unlabeled. She played it. Static, then a girl's voice. "I think they're watching me. If anything happens, don't believe the principal." Back in the main office, Principal Harris refused to comment. "Old ghost stories," he said, brushing off the incident. "But someone had cleaned that room recently. The dust around the desk was unsettled. On a hunch, Detective Myers returned to the library. She examined the spot where Alex had died. Under the carpet was a loose tile. Beneath it, a key, a small brass one, labeled only with a number, 12. There was no room 12 in the school. But in the staff basement, restricted to students, was a door. A rusted placard hung crookedly from it. Art 12, records. The key fit. Inside, files. Dozens, all labeled with years. Buried between dusty folders was a list of names. Every student marked with a red X. The most recent name? Alex Grant. Alex Grant wasn't the first student to go missing. He was just the first to come back. What happened in room 108 started long before Alex was born. But what chilled her most, what made even the seasoned detective hesitate, was the last entry. A name added after Alex's, written in fresh ink. Name? Eliza May. But before the body, before the note, before room 108 incident, there was Alex Grant, 17 years old, junior at Redwood High School, class president, debate team captain, starred in the school play, charismatic, sharp, always a little too curious for his own good. But he wasn't just a golden boy. He had a streak just under the surface, a need to know things, the kind of kid who didn't stop at answers. He dug until you squirmed. He'd ask teachers these weird questions about the school history, old rooms, stuff nobody cared about. Alex wasn't a troublemaker, but he asked too much. Once asked me why room 108 was sealed. I didn't even know he knew about it, said a teacher. He was obsessed. He thought something happened here a long time ago. Called it a cover-up, said another student. Over the last few weeks, classmates said Alex started acting strange, more withdrawn, kept looking over his shoulder, stayed after class, always in the library. He told a friend he was working on something, a story bigger than grades or gossip. He didn't say what, but his notebook, he never let it out of sight. And then, one day, he did something he never did. He skipped rehearsal. He missed a debate meeting. He didn't show up for dinner. Security footage, grainy and slow, shows Alex at 5:47 p.m., walking down the second-floor hallway, a stack of books in one arm, his notebook under the other. The school had closed an hour earlier, but the library door was unlocked. And then, he disappeared from the cameras. When interviewed, the janitor, Mr. Lang, he said, "I thought I saw someone in there late. Figured it was a teacher. Lights were on, but no sounds. When I checked the next morning, he was just there, slumped over, like he fell asleep, but he wasn't breathing." Police said there were no signs of trauma, no weapon, no drugs in his system, just Alex, still, like a puppet with the strings cut. But when they found his notebook, it wasn't just school notes or essays. The last page read, "If I die, look in room 108. It was scribbled hastily, like he knew something was coming. And that was the last anyone ever saw of Alex Grant alive. But that wasn't the most terrifying part, because when police followed the trail to room 108, they discovered Alex wasn't the first. After the message in Alex's notebook led police to room 108, suspicion grew. Someone had to be responsible. But who? The police begin questioning faculty and students. Social media goes into overdrive. Reddit threads light up. 3 names begin to rise to the surface again and again. 3 names. 3 people with very different reasons to want Alex gone. Number 1, Principal Harris. Military background. Steel gray hair. Always in a press suit. Known for his no excuses policy. Late slips earned detentions. Whispers of cover-ups. Bullying swept under the rug. An iron fist cloaked in school pride. A former student testified. If Principal Harris wanted something buried, it stayed buried. Last semester, Alex had filed a complaint. A teacher, an unfair grade. It disappeared, just vanished from the records. Who had the power to erase it? Number 2, Eliza May, straight A student, class valedictorian, but oddly invisible. Teachers praised her. Students barely knew her, except Alex. Alex once told a friend she was everywhere. At the coffee shop, on the bus, outside the library, always. One day, she left a note in Alex's locker. It read, "You see what no one else does." No one knew what it meant until Alex died. Number 3, Coach Daniels. Loud, abrasive, a legend in the town. But his temper? Legendary too. Just days before Alex died, Daniels was overheard screaming at him. Witnesses say Alex had taken photos of the gym's equipment room. Coach Daniels demanded the photos be deleted. No one knows why. A student athlete testified. He grabbed Alex by the collar, said, "If you don't back off, you'll regret it." When questioned, Coach Daniels said it was a misunderstanding. But his alibi? Weak. Online forums explode. Theories pour in. Love triangle gone wrong. Alex knew too much. Principal Harris is hiding something buried in room 108. The school has secrets, and someone killed to protect them. TikTok videos dramatize it. True crime subreddits analyze the case like gospel. Each suspect had motive, each had opportunity, and each had a reason to fear what Alex might expose. But then, a break. Police pull surveillance footage from the school's rarely checked side hallway camera. Most of the feed is corrupted, but one section is intact. It was at 9:04 p.m. Date: the night before Alex died. There he was, Alex Grant, backpack slung over one shoulder, walking down the East Wing corridor, heading straight for room 108. Alone. As Alex walks toward the door, he pauses. He looks over his shoulder, as if he heard something, as if someone else was there. Then, static. The footage cuts out. Someone said, "But if the camera was damaged, who deleted the rest?" The photo of Ethan Moore, same age, same pose, same place, spread through the police department like wildfire. But it didn't stop there. That image, leaked, posted anonymously online, picked up by a local blog. Then a comment. "My brother died the same way." 1991, the school covered it up. It didn't take long before the town started remembering. Old wounds, closed cases, unanswered questions, names no one had spoken in decades. Local reporter Maggie Brill ran a piece titled, "Ethan Moore, the Forgotten Death of Grant High." It resurfaced police reports once sealed, scans of a journal entry, written in Ethan's hand. "If anything happens to me, the truth is in room 108. Almost identical to Alex Grant's final message. Two students, 34 years apart. Same message, same death. And one person was at the school both times. Principal Harris. But Principal Harris wasn't always the principal. Back in 1991, he was a junior teacher. Quiet, barely mentioned in the original investigation. Not even interviewed. But one retired officer came forward in a podcast clip. "We were told to leave the staff alone. The school board pressured us, said it would ruin the town's reputation." Soon after that interview aired, the podcast episode vanished. Deleted, pulled from every platform. But it was too late. The silence had cracked. Parents of students from 1991 held a press conference. Some broke down in tears. Others held yellowed photos of their children. "We knew something wasn't right," one mother said. "My son complained of nightmares, voices. Then he stopped speaking altogether. They made us sign things, promised scholarships, told us to be quiet." Old fear mixed with new anger. The town wanted answers. And one person knew more than she had said. Eliza May. Quiet, smart, valedictorian material. Rumored to have been close with Alex, maybe even more than close. She'd said little during questioning, avoided interviews, but never missed a day of school until now. Security footage recovered from a forgotten hallway camera showed something chilling. The timestamp was 3 days before Alex died. The tape shows Eliza, alone, standing in front of room 108. She glances over her shoulder, reaches into her bag, pulls out a key, and unlocks the door. She goes inside, alone. How did she get that key? No students should have access. The room was sealed, or so they thought. More disturbing, she was inside for 27 minutes. No one knows what she did, or what she found. She hasn't been seen since the footage aired. And one final note, a book, recovered from Alex's locker. Inside was a single Polaroid. It showed room 108 with something written on the wall. The bell never rang. And next, what happened in those 27 minutes Eliza was inside was discovered. 3 days after the room 108 footage leaked, Eliza May was brought in for questioning. No lawyers, no parents, just Eliza pale, shaking, but silent, until one detective showed her the image. The photo found in Alex's locker. The bell never rang. Something changed. Her eyes filled, not with fear, but guilt. Eliza said, "He was going to expose it." I told him to stop digging. Eliza sat in the interview room for hours. Finally, she spoke. "Alex found something in an old file drawer behind the faculty lounge. A list, student names, some crossed out in red." She pauses, swallows. One of them was me. The list had no explanation, no dates, no reason, just a roll call of names and red XS. Alex believed it was a pattern. He thought the XS meant the school was watching us, picking us. And then the list vanished. "When did you last see it?" a detective asked. Eliza replied, 2 nights before he died. He showed it to me on his phone, said he had the physical copy too. Told me if anything happened to go to his desk at home. Eliza did go, but surprisingly, when she got to his desk at home, the paper copy? Gone. But in Alex's handwriting, on a sticky note. "She's next. Don't let them bury it again." Eliza was convinced this wasn't paranoia. It was preparation. "But why didn't you come forward earlier?" Another detective asked. Eliza's eyes dropped to the floor. "Because I told him to stop." She'd begged Alex to let it go, to stop snooping, to stop asking about room 108. I thought they'd just suspend him. Not this. The silence between each word. Deafening. I didn't think they'd actually kill him. Just when detectives were about to end the session, Eliza stood up. From her coat pocket, she pulled out a small black notebook. He had another one. Alex kept this one hidden from everyone, even me. I found it taped beneath the floorboard in his bedroom. It wasn't like the one the police had. This one had no "if I die" warning. No ominous predictions. Just notes, timestamps, names, maps of the school, and strange coded phrases. Bell order 235. Night calls begin at 1:16 a.m. Don't trust the man in green. It always starts in the East Wing. What was Alex trying to decode? Inside the back cover, a folded slip of paper. It read, "Final proof is in tape 6. But I'm not the only one who knows." And at the very bottom, in scrawled handwriting, "Harris is hiding something under the old boiler room." But when police returned to room 108, tape 6 was missing. The second notebook wasn't ordinary. It wasn't a diary. It was a case file, built by a 17-year-old. Each page was meticulously filled. Dates, observations, odd behaviors, blueprints. One of the earliest entries? Found a vent behind the AV room. Leads underground. Matches old fire evacuation map from 1987. The drawings were rough, but there was something eerie about them. Hidden staircases, shut down wings, unmarked rooms labeled not on plans. Then came a timeline. Each year, marked with red dots. Disciplinary actions, student transfers, unexplained disappearances. Alex had cross-referenced yearbooks and local news articles. Each red dot matched a student who faded from school records. 4 students in 1991, 2 in 2003, 1 in 2015. Me, he circled his own name. And underneath it, what happened in 1991 is happening again. The deeper the police read, the darker it got. A page held a crude family tree, scribbled names connecting teachers, administrators, and staff long gone. At the top, Principal Harris, linked to multiple names, some ex-faculty, others former students. One box was marked in red, Coach Daniels. A note next to his name, witnessed argument. Harris paid him off? Track video logs. But there were no video logs. Not for that day. Not for that entire week. Deleted. Then, the final entry. Bold. Shaky. As if written in a rush. Trust no one. Not even the police. Eliza might be in danger. Found her name on the list again. Someone rewrote it. The words were surrounded by arrows, exclamation marks, underlines. The back cover was torn, as if something had been ripped out. The notebook was enough to act. The next morning, Coach Daniels was arrested. The town cheered. Someone, finally, was held accountable. But in the footage of his arrest, he didn't look scared. He didn't protest. He smirked. As the cuffs clicked, he looked straight at the officer. "You think I killed him?" asked the principal. A pause. Then, laughter. Low. Unsettling. You're playing checkers in a chessboard school. As Daniels is taken away, Eliza watches from behind the glass. But her expression changes. She walks straight to the detective and says, "You still don't get it. Harris didn't just cover it up. A beat. He built it. They didn't wait." At 6 a.m., police entered the school with a warrant. Target: Principal Harris's office. The staff stood frozen as uniformed officers tore through decades of file cabinets, bookcases, and desk drawers. At first, nothing. But then, behind an old, outdated trophy display, a false panel was found. Inside, a locked metal box, faded letters, a stained folder labeled "Disciplinary Action, Codex." The letters were chilling. Typed, signed, sealed. From past principals, superintendents, people no longer living in the town. The tone? Clinical, dehumanizing. Subject has failed reintegration. Proceed with Phase 2. Family has been notified of relocation due to psychiatric concern. And then came the second X list. It matched Alex's notes. But this version was longer. More names. Some crossed out completely. Some just missing. And at the top, handwritten in ink. Keep room 108 sealed. Do not disclose. H. Harris was silent at first. He sat, hand on forehead, surrounded by evidence. But then, as photos of the notebook and the yearbook pages were laid out in front of him, something cracked. He whispered. It was supposed to end in 92. They told me it would stop. Detectives leaned in. The camera kept rolling. We were told to intervene. Problem children. Disruptors. His voice trembled. Alex wasn't on the list. But he found it. He found everything. I didn't kill him. I couldn't stop what was already in motion. Detectives asked, "Who are they?" Harris only said one thing. "You've already met them." Then he asked for a lawyer. Outside, reporters circled. Students whispered. Parents demanded answers. One mother shouted, "My daughter disappeared in 1991, and you're telling me this is why?" Inside the police station, officers reviewed a final piece of evidence, pulled from a corrupted security feed found on an old hard drive. Date: 2 nights before Alex's death. Location: room 108. The video was grainy, infrared, silent, but clear enough. The timestamp blinked. 9:03 p.m. The door creaked open. Alex stepped into room 108. He was holding a flashlight, moving cautiously. He stepped out of frame. Then movement. Another man entered the shot. Not a student. Not Harris. Older, bearded, wearing a faded staff badge. No one recognized him. But the badge was clear. Staff 1991, Mr. G. Lang. Mr. Lang had been presumed dead. An accident in the boiler room in 1993. Closed casket. No obituary photo. No official file. But now he was here, in room 108, with Alex. Just 2 days before the teen was found dead. The final frame. Lang turns to the camera and smiles. After days of silence, the man from the surveillance footage was identified. Not Mr. Lang. Not a ghost from the past. Not even on staff records. His name was Daniel Kell. On paper, the school's newest history teacher, hired just 4 months prior. Young, intelligent, polished, but no one had noticed the uncanny resemblance to Marcus Kell, a student who died in 1991, at the exact age, in the exact place, and under the exact circumstances as Alex Grant. Daniel Kell wasn't just a teacher. He was Marcus Kell's younger brother, and he hadn't come to teach. He came for revenge, for truth, for justice. He'd spent decades tracing what had happened at this school, pulling at buried threads, hidden documents, erased reports. No one believed his family. No one cared. Until now, he took the job under a fake name, using outdated references and unverifiable credentials from out-of-state districts. And he had a plan. What was the plan? To repeat history, in just enough detail that it couldn't be ignored. He believed that only a dramatic, unsolvable tragedy would force the town to reckon with its past. And Alex? Alex was supposed to be on it. The two had met after class. Alex had already been digging into room 108. Daniel approached him carefully, feeding him questions, nudging him toward forgotten clues, old lists, dark corners. But then, Alex went too far. He wanted to publish everything. Names, files, the notebook. Daniel warned him to wait. He refused. So Daniel did what he thought he had to do. Daniel Kell never meant to kill Alex. He confessed to investigators. I gave him a sedative. It was supposed to just knock him out. Like 1991. The photo? The pose? I recreated it. Exactly. I wanted people to notice. I wanted them to dig. Daniel left Alex in the library, alive, just unconscious. It was also Daniel Kell that planted the notebook message. If I die, look in room 108. He wanted that phrase to echo through the town again. But something went wrong. Alex never woke up. Toxicology would later reveal a rare allergic reaction, a fatal one. The story exploded. News outlets camped outside the school. Online theorists built timelines and breakdowns. But one question remained. Was Daniel Kell a villain or a whistleblower? Some called him a murderer. Others? A hero trapped in grief. Daniel Kell's final words to police. I wanted the town to wake up. I never thought I'd bury another brother. He was arrested for involuntary manslaughter and fraud. But his trial would become one of the most followed cases in state history. Following Kell's confession, the district launched a full investigation. Room 108 was officially unsealed. More documents were found. Names, disciplinary records, falsified transfers. Dozens of families were contacted. Some still in town. Some moved far away. Some never heard from again. And then, one final envelope was uncovered behind a crumbling section of wall. Inside, a Polaroid, a ring, and a note that read, "There were more than just students." The arrest of Daniel Kell sends shockwaves through the town. In handcuffs, he remains silent, cold, calculated, his eyes hollow. Outside the courthouse, a crowd forms. Some yell, demanding justice for Alex. Others whisper that Kell did what the town never had the courage to do. Meanwhile, Principal Harris, once untouchable, iron-willed, resigns under pressure. His statement? Barely 3 lines. Mistakes were made. I have nothing more to say, but it was too late. The files found in room 108 were made public. Parents, journalists, former students, they all flooded City Hall. Dozens of names, all marked. Disciplinary records that never made it to permanent files. Expulsions that were never reported. Families came forward. Some wept. Some screamed. Many filed lawsuits against the school board, the former administration, and even local law enforcement for years of silence and cover-up. Within a week, the school was shut down indefinitely. Metal fences, police guards, cameras flashing through foggy mornings. And for the first time in its 93-year history, no students walked its halls. A memorial was held on the football field. Photos of Alex lined a wall, along with candles, poems, and scribbled notes from friends and strangers alike. The town, once divided by silence, came together, if only for a night. Eliza May stepped up to the podium. She gripped the microphone, her hands trembling slightly. He was 17. He could have ignored what he found, but he didn't. He died trying to tell the truth. So, let's listen now. Let's stop pretending. He gave us everything. Don't let it be for nothing. The crowd was silent. And then, a slow, solemn applause. News of the case spread beyond the town. National outlets ran specials. Podcasts picked it up. True crime forums exploded with theories. Did Harris know about the deaths all along? What really happened in 1991? Were there more names? But one post went viral. A photo posted anonymously. It showed the second notebook, the one Eliza had turned in. The final pages were covered in circles, notes, and arrows. One name stood out, freshly circled in red. Noah May, Eliza's younger brother. Viewers online froze the frame, enhanced it, reposted it. Speculation spread like wildfire. Was Noah next? Was the cycle starting again? Did Eliza know more than she said? The town tried to move on, but rumors clung to the walls of that abandoned school like mold. Noah? He stopped showing up to class weeks before the school closed. His social media, silent. His phone, disconnected. Was he next? Police say he moved with family, but no one's seen him since. But it wasn't true that he moved in with family. Room 108 that had been locked had to be opened again. Maybe something will be found there to aid in the search for him. But when they opened it, Noah wasn't there. Noah never came home from a friend's house. And his phone? Found outside room 108. And in the dust behind one of the broken tiles in room 108's wall, police found another tape. The tape plays a conversation between two men. One is Kel, the other unidentified. But what he says chills investigators. If they won't uncover the truth, we'll use their children to make them remember. Voiceover comment threads flash on screen. Who's the other man? More people involved? Was Eliza's whole family a target? A pattern emerged. The names marked in Alex's notebook weren't just random. They were descendants of students who disappeared in 1991. Noah's name being circled was no mistake. It was later realized he wasn't kidnapped. He was bait for something else. Police combing through yearbooks, family trees, a string of connections linking parents from 1991 to their kids now. A tip from an anonymous caller leads police to a location outside town. An abandoned farmhouse, 14 miles from the city. They found Noah, alive, tied up, but unharmed. He tells the police something strange. They never spoke, just played the same tape over and over. Alex saying, they know, run. Noah reunites with Eliza. It was emotional for them both. Quiet school, hallways boarded up. Principal Harris walking past reporters in silence. Eliza at Noah's side during therapy. With the arrests made, secrets exposed, and the school shut down, the town finally began to sleep again. People believed it was over. That Alex Grant's death had solved the puzzle. Alex's black notebook resting on a police evidence shelf. But then, at 3:42 a.m., several homes near the school report a strange broadcast across old radios and TVs. A distorted voice says, "He wasn't the last. The school is silent, but not empty. Room 108 breathes." Clips of local news stations reporting the interference. Community panic spreads again. Police dismissed it as a prank or a leftover tape. But the message didn't just go out once. It aired again and again. A retired teacher shares, "I remember a boy back in '92. His name was Darren Fields. He used to say the same thing, room 108 breathes." He vanished a week later. Crumbling yearbooks, newspaper clippings, missing persons posters. A theme emerges. One student missing every few years. Many connected to the original X list. Which leads us to ask, was Alex really the last warning? Or just the latest? One town thought they buried the truth. But maybe they just buried the ones who told it.